Hey guys, Jason with Minnesota News here in Hopkins, Minnesota. Don't know if the person's in custody, but there was also a person that was shooting. At that apartment building right there. EMS is treating a person out here. We don't know if the suspect's still at large or not. As far as we know, State Patrol was looking. Let me secure this quick, and I will. So this is a shooting in Hopkins at 4XX Blake Road North. Officers are on scene of a shooting with fatal injuries after the shooter was fired in an apartment building. There is limited suspect information at this time. State Patrol helicopter was searching. K9 teams are out assisting. Officers found several bullet holes inside the building. No word on victims. Traffic is being blocked and diverted from outside here in front of the building. The State Patrol helicopter has been called off. We have an ambulance pulling up. So that's Hennepin Healthcare pulling up right now. We have Main Street out here. This is a possible fatal injury shooting. No suspect info and no information on if the suspect's in custody or yet or not. This was an active shooting situation. The suspect has fled. There's multiple bullet holes found in the apartment buildings, or inside the building, and possible fatalities. Looks like there are people there are possibly allowing residents back in. So it looks like there are residents being allowed back into the building at this time. When I got here, there was no one was allowed into the building at all. So they're not allowing people up into units on the 3rd floor. So there are possible people up into that unit. Appears that crime lab is out here. Hennepin County Sheriff's Department crime lab van is out here. We can thank Sheriff Hutchinson for encrypting the radio so we cannot know what's going on out here, to pass information on to the public, and the public is very concerned about this. No, there are no tents out here. I don't know, but it makes me want to go film it now. I don't even know who the guy. I think it's that one there. One of those two. I wonder if it's BCA. They get really weird about their vehicles being on camera.
Was he an officer?
I'm assuming it's the guy in the plaid shirt that just walked up. There's a tactful way and a non-tactful way to talk to that, you know. Like I said, now it makes me want to go see what the hell he's not wanting to. Right. We don't do that anymore. That's why we're here. That's literally the point. I've never filmed in Hopkins. Have you been out here much?
Not for this.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in St. Paul. I mean, last night one of the deputies got fired upon Connor Ramsey, and we were out just cop watching, seeing what was going on, and we heard that, and then we heard Pat come over the radio. Like, holy shit, was it Pat from Pat and Bob? You know, and it wasn't him. It was another different deputy that got fired upon, and we were listening to it, and it was like there's a lot of resentment between the sheriff's department and St. Paul PD during that. Yeah, not very much getting along between those two agencies right now.
Really? No. Whatever that.
Like, look, we're just here to film and document. I don't want any part of your guys' rivalry or whatever you got going on.
Check it out on us.
Oh, they like to. You know, the whole pesky Constitution thing.
Oh yeah.
They said now it makes me curious which car it was, because now I want to know why and who.
Was that pickup truck that drove away, or that car back?
No, I think it's either the one back there or this one up here. One of the unmarked. I mean, I won't do it live, but it still makes me curious.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's part of our job, right? We should be curious. Alright. I'm actually gonna go this way. The scene was a possible fatality.
Well, no,
Well,
no.
I
So
can just add on. Grab
oh no, you've got.
You guys going down more?
We're just gonna extend across the street here. You're fine just where you are here.
Perfect. Do you know who that guy is in the plaid shirt? Is that VCA?
He's just one of our investigators.
Oh, one of your guys? Okay.
Yep. Can I help you, sir?
No, what happened?
Shark attack.
Shooting.
I'd say it was police line, yeah. In the street?
In the building.
This guy knows a lot. Ask him questions. I gotta go.
In the building.
Really?
Possible third floors from what I'm hearing, because they're
Third
not
floor.
letting people onto the third floor.
Oh, really?
But they're letting people into other areas of the building.
Third floor, off limits.
Yeah.
It's a nice building.
It is a very nice building, but right,
Can
I
happen
mean,
anywhere.
Plymouth has had. I mean, they just had the movie theater the other night.
Which, the Grand?
Not the one by the. It's one I didn't even know it was there. It's there's two. There's one over by 169, then there's one by Cub Foods right there, kind of by the police. That's the one I knew of, and it didn't happen at that one. It happened at it's a smaller one down
Okay.
there.
The Grand is the 15. I was just checking the
Yeah,
list.
no, if it wasn't that one.
Yeah. And there was a shooting there last night?
I think it was last night. Yeah, last night. I'm pretty sure it was last night or the night before around
Makes
9
you want to
o'clock.
go to a movie.
Right? They open the restrictions for everything, and now it's like I'm mostly in St. Paul because of what's going on out there. It's getting really bad out in St. Paul too, and Plymouth. And then last night, as I was leaving, they had a car. Well, they went to stop a car. Plymouth did. It was stolen. Took off. Didn't meet pursuit criteria. Went out to Wright County. So then West Hennepin PD and Medina picked it up. The car turns around, comes back through Plymouth, and then stops sticking it somewhere on, I think, 394, and Minnetonka and St. Louis Park with Plymouth picked it back up, and they got all people and the car. So it's just, it's all over. I do it as a part-time hobby, and I can't keep up.
What is Abby? What's Abby?
Hobby?
Abby. Oh, nice. You go to Ollie's?
As many as I can get to. Sheriff Bob Hutchinson encrypted all the radios, so Hennepin County we're blind. Everyone relies on tips, including like mainstream media and stuff. All rely on tips from people because we can't hear the radios anymore. At least Hutchinson, and that's Hutchinson, so our sheriff here, and his campaign promise he wouldn't do it. 10 days into office, he did it. At least Bob won't do that in Ramsey. He wants to keep,
Wow.
information right. People want to know.
How about that?
It's like
It's incredible the secrecy there. That's bad.
well, we don't have an issue with like SWAT channels being encrypted, like tactical channels being encrypted. Great, that's fine. But stuff like this, when it gets called out, we need to know so we can get here, so we can start filming. Like I'm live, and so there's not 100 people coming up to these, and you get crowds, right? Here, not so much, but like in this, like downtown Minneapolis or St. Paul, there's a lot of people that will come up, and I'm not going to say everyone does it, but like in Brooklyn Park, they were having issues with people crossing the crime scene tape, getting into a crime scene. Well, if we're out here, we're filming everything. Like I just put out what we see, and there's no narrative, there's no spinning. This is what it is. It's live right now. This is what's going on, and you don't have to wait for mainstream to put the 2-second clip on the air and tell you what they want you to believe, and
Yeah, right. The 2-second clip. I'm surprised there's not really any residents in the building in their windows or anything.
I seen a couple down on that side of
Really?
the building, and they were starting to let people come back in. They just need to know where they were going, and I know one of the residents mentioned 303, and they're like, probably not gonna be able to get there for a while.
Wow, that's terrible. Were there victims?
I heard there's possible fatalities.
More than one?
It said fatality shooting. So, do you do Twitter?
No.
Okay. That's another good way, because there's a lot of people like MN Crime is on Twitter, and they'll post when these calls come out. So they somehow get the information and then relay it, and then I hear it from them in Hennepin County and come out to it. Like there was a shooting, so the day of, well, technically it was the next day, over at the truck stop. I was there 10 minutes after that happened, live. So a lot of mainstream used my footage.
I see.
And then that morning, or that day, I was in Plymouth. There was a shooting there. And then we had another shooting up in Bemidji. And then early the next morning was the truck park shooting. And then we went to the 5th shooting call while we were out there for an hour filming, to another shooting in St. Paul where there was 14 rounds in Yukon, GMC Yukon, kind of 14 rounds inside of that truck. And 2 minor injuries came out of that shooting. I was actually trying to take the night off and just put follow-up videos together, because there's a guy in critical condition that was on a bicycle in Plymouth that was a hit and run. And so I was trying to, get update videos out, and this happened. I'm like, here we go.
Well, good luck. I wish, I just surprised, but not surprised either.
Well,
It's just one of the things that happened here, unfortunately, and
What's here? That's it. It's just here. It doesn't mean that it's a bad area. It doesn't mean anything else. In fact, you know, every night in St. Paul, we're getting, I think the minimum is 2 shooting calls from about 9 to 2 in the morning. They've had, you know, and then, you know, they're not covering it on mainstream, right? They're not just giving
it's
updates.
Just standard recurrence, you know, for the people like in the know, you know, all those things are always going to happen. It's not even newsworthy at this point, is it? Probably not.
Well, I think it is, because if
Well,
you have,
if it's always
right, well, if you have agencies that are going, hey, we need more money and we need more staff and we need more help, well, why? Right? So if we're putting out there, look, they're running calls and they're setting perimeters up to trying to catch people, it ties up 10, 15 officers, well, then there's not enough officers to cover the rest of the city when you're already short-staffed, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not all law enforcement sees us out here doing this as a benefit. They look at it more as a hindrance or annoyance or whatever, and it's like, we're on the same team. Our goal is the same thing. It's just 2 different routes to do it. Because you guys, you know, everyone that lives here should know what's going on. I'd love to cover easier stories like, you know, non-shooting calls,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But unfortunately, that doesn't happen all the time.
Where can you see your video? Is it
YouTube,
YouTube under what?
Minnesota News Now.
Okay.
So I've been in all the protests and the riots, and I get right into all of it.
Okay.
So you got to see what's going on,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, I'll look for it. Thanks.
Yeah, not a problem. Take care. Have a good evening. No hostage. Shooter, as far as we know, is still on the loose. Doesn't look like we have any more updates.
New media?
I am independent.
What kind of happened here? The police won't say anything.
I know, that's sad. So, it is a shooting with a fatal injuries.
They wouldn't tell me that.
I know, and it's sad because it's like people want to know. And that's, do you ever use Twitter?
No, I don't have a computer.
Okay. Yeah, so that's basically, that's all the information I have is right here is on Twitter through M and Crime. So the officers are on scene of a shooting with fatal injuries, and the person is,
Deceased.
well, we don't, it's
You don't know that
fatal injury, so hopefully they don't die.
Well, thank you. I got a little understanding. The cops will say nothing to me.
I know, and it depends on the agencies. I haven't been here in Hopkins a whole lot, but different agencies are a little bit, you know, they'll
Either closed mouth or...
well, they'll just, like, we're all humans. Like, especially, do you live here?
Yeah, I do like it. I just moved in not too long ago,
Oh.
so...
It can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I've covered a few in Plymouth already, so I mean, it can just happen anywhere.
People are so quick with the gun.
I've been out in St. Paul covering all that stuff, so yes,
Yeah.
Do you know if it's just regular apartments, or are they like assisted or tax credit or
They're kind of
subsidized?
low income.
Low income. They look really nice.
Yeah, they are. It's like, there's nothing much in there. I mean, I just moved here like 3 days ago or something like that. took me 2 days to get my TV, so at least I finally got that.
Well, I did see some mainstream out here, so
What does that mean?
mainstream news like 4, 5, 9, 11.
So it might be after
So
that.
they might have like a 2-minute blurb. Now, what they put out might not. Who knows what they say, but that's why I come out. So I'm live right now. So I'm on YouTube. Do you?
I don't have any computers or
Okay.
anything yet here at the house. I just moved in a couple days ago, so.
Well, if you, I would say there's a few of us that do this. There's a few of us out here that do this on social media.
I hear somebody over there crying. so
Yeah,
it
the
must
lady, the lady over by the pole there.
She must be involved in some respect. So seems like.
Well,
I think.
when I've been out on these things, there's been a lot of people, and it's just emotional, the whole thing. So, yeah, and then I guess the suspect was off, and they had State Patrol helicopter out here tracking, and
That's what got my attention. I saw this light coming down, and
yeah, and then a K9 out here too, trying to do a dog track.
I hope they get whoever.
Yeah, Plymouth did. They got the guy, the 169 shooting. So they tend to try real hard to get
So
them.
there might be something on it tonight on the news.
Probably for Hopkins, this isn't a normal thing for Hopkins. So
No, it
more
isn't.
than likely this will
Pretty
be
peaceful place, usually.
like there's tons of like we'll on every night in St. Paul there's at least 2 shooting calls, and you don't hear about them, right? You only hear the major ones.
Well, this looks like more than a little one with all this police activity.
Well, it's not normal for Hopkins, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's why I liked Hopkins, because it is a little bit less violent, I guess we'll say. And you know, nowadays people are so quick with the guns, and 90% of them don't even have a permit or nothing.
Well, that's the problem. Most of the shootings that are happening are by, felons that aren't supposed to have the gun. So politicians' answers are very quick to go, hey, let's put more laws on the books. Well, why don't we work on figuring out the laws we have now to enforce them?
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is taking people that could have a gun to defend themselves against a bad person with a gun, and you're taking them to turn them into victims.
Yeah.
Look at the areas where they have a lot of gun control, most gun control. Chicago, New York, California, anywhere they have higher gun restrictions, you have more violence that's quicker with guns because you create victim zones.
Yeah, I grew up in Sacramento, California,
Yep.
and it used to be a nice place, but more and more and more it got violent like this kind of shit.
Well, and that's the thing, and everyone's like, well, just call the cops. It's like, that's great. Don't have a problem with calling the cops, but when seconds count, cops are only minutes away.
That's true.
They can't be everywhere at once. I mean, how many times do we say that? Where's a cop when you need one? You put them on every street corner, it wouldn't make a difference. People are inherently going to make their decisions, right or wrong, good or bad, and it's only up to you to keep yourself safe.
Well,
And
I pretty much do stay at home most of the time.
yeah,
But how many times have you heard of somebody sitting in a living room and a bullet comes flying through the window and bloop?
it can happen. But same thing. I mean, 65% of deaths in our country are heart attacks.
Yeah.
So are
Well,
still leading.
I've had 2 heart attacks and a stroke. So
Oh well, yeah. See, and you're still.
yeah. But when I first had the stroke, it was like I got dizzy for a minute, and then all of a sudden I had to travel a couple of roads.
Yeah.
And so I recovered very well from that.
Yeah, I
luckily.
can't. Yeah, you're doing good.
But it took a couple, 3 months to even start kind of talking normal. But I went to, what do you call it, speech therapy,
Oh yeah.
and they helped me a lot.
So did you hear anything?
I didn't hear nothing.
You just looked out the window and seen a bunch of.
All of a sudden there was lights all over the place, so,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you know where Unit 303 is? Is that on that?
I'm not. I've
Yeah, you're
been
not
there
too
very long,
yeah.
so, yeah. And I don't have a car, so I don't drive. UI thing.
I worked security over at Knollwood years ago, and that was interesting over there. It was,
I worked security in California.
oh wow.
There was a complex, and I worked all day and stayed up half the night walking the beat. I don't know if it wasn't nothing like this crap going on that goes on in Minnesota. There were pipe thieves and,
Yeah,
petty crap.
petty crime, which I'm not okay with, but I'd rather have that than this.
Absolutely. Well, I think I'll go in the house and see if there's something on the news later.
There should be. I've seen at least 3 different mainstream cameras out here, so the chances are pretty good seeing something.
Okay, sir, you have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Well, that was
Hey, sir, can I help you?
he lives here.
Okay.
Alright guys, I'm going to show you real quick here. Here's the tracking of the State Patrol helicopter. It's kind of blurry. Let me see if I can get it to focus. You can see State Patrol is flying around this area looking. The resident said that he came out because he was curious about the helicopter with the spotlight shining down and all the lights out here. Thanks, John. I try not to be like that. So yeah, he's seen a bunch of the lights and everything. Here's someone that's upset with the officer over there in the plaid to the left. PD's still processing and working on this. We're probably waiting for more crime lab units to show up out here to process. They're not wanting people to walk in and out of the main entrance, but they're allowing some residents here to be here. Let me see if I can go get info from other people. Actually, let me check to see if I got an update quick before we do that. So it looks like it's a St. Louis Park squad that's leaving. We're pretty close to St. Louis Park. So Crime Watch Minneapolis is reporting this possible fatal shooting, is what they're being told. You guys live here?
Get your bitch ass on my face before I start to look.
Yeah, we got some really polite people here. So it's a polite gentleman right there. No, this is Hopkins, not Brooklyn Park. So in Minnesota, that what he just did would classify as assault. Yeah, criminal control is truly what it is. So just to recap, so possible fatal, there's a shooting with fatal injuries um, out here in Hopkins at this apartment building.
Hi, buddy. Oh, look at you got a sticker. Cool. Okay, so
We are in Hopkins, Minnesota. No, Bob and Pat are not here. So you can kind of see up, well, I can kind of see up inside the main stairwell entrance, and I don't see any officers really in any of the units on this side of the building. Yeah, and I hope people don't think that I am actually focusing on just certain stories. These are just unusual. These are low-income, low-income building units here, apartment units. There's a low-income property. Possible suspect information. So there's the open stairwell. You can see right in. So they're actually interviewing someone that possibly knows the person that is shooting. I don't want to get too close or too much information. So they possibly have a person of interest. They're getting a description, a person that they know is a person of interest right now. So it sounds like they have a possible person of interest. Oh, the possible victim there, and the person that knows the victim. far as we know, one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those important stuff.
So the medical examiner. Walk down here, so I'll see if we see a Hennepin County medical examiner out here. Still have the road all closed off. So, this Hennepin County Sheriff's Department Crime Lab processing. It's going to be about three hours or so before the one resident's into their unit. They're still interviewing witnesses. This witness is being interviewed. Zoom out as far as I can here. So there's witnesses being interviewed over there. Got multiple sheriff's department vehicles. This is a fatal shooting in Hopkins. They do have crime lab. Crime lab is Hennepin County Sheriff's Department. Crime lab is processing the scene. They did say that possible have the coroner coming out. Yeah, they're just restricting the flow from inside the main entrance of the building. As far as I know, we did hear from one of the residents that said they did not hear anything or see anything. The only reason they came out or knew something was going on was there was a ton of flashing lights and state patrol helicopter was out here shining the spotlight down, and then they had multiple canines out here trying to track the suspect. I don't know yet. I was hearing them interview possibly someone that knew the victim or suspect. I wasn't too sure. At least one person didn't hear. I tried to talk to someone else that threatened me, so don't know. We don't know any of that information yet. All right, guys. This just in from Crime Watch Minneapolis. Possible jumper on the 7th floor of the parking ramp at the Hyatt Place. Negotiators are requested, and that is going to be in Minneapolis. So I might be breaking off this story, and I don't think I'm gonna go out there. I'm kind of riding solo tonight, so I'm not gonna go to Minneapolis by myself. So I'm waiting to see if we get the coroner out here. They possibly transported the individual, so we might. The victim was possibly transported, so we might not have a coroner out here. I see a bunch of people in the windows looking out, guys. But I'm gonna break off of this. So it looks like there are residents back in the building, into their units. Alright, guys, catch you on the next one. Hopefully it stops for a little bit. Y'all need a break. Thanks for jumping on. Jason with Minnesota News Now out. Alright, well, we have something developing. Someone's screaming. My friend just died and I watched him die. I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure where that came from. Alright, guys, so So we did hear a woman just yell that her friend just died and she watched him die. So. Alright guys.
No, baby, we're not going home. Zayden. Enough.
Alright guys, I will post updates in the description if you want to check back on the video. So, yeah, another tragic scene out here at the apartments. Again, thanks for tuning in guys. Jason, Minnesota News Now out.